now it's okay to do a few old Nightwish things and all
Sure.
that together.
Yeah.
But it's not, but as an idea, it's not something that I see myself carrying into a far future. Might still do some because it seems to be very happy thing for people as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is a very much of a criteria for me. Um, but I do owe one duet to Tarja now. She said that if she does one of mine
Yeah, that was my next
and
question.
then starts later on to write some songs, am I ready to come over for her? Yes, of course.
Great. That's awesome.
So we got
Cool.
a gentleman's and ladies deal about this.
This is Ryan with Ethereal Metal. I'm going to be here today with Mr. Marko Hietala.
Very good evening.
And we're going to be discussing his upcoming solo album, Roses from the Deep, coming out February 7th on Nuclear Blast. Marko, thanks again for taking the time to chat.
No problem at all.
Cool.
I'm basically on a day off. There is this traditional Christmas tour going on that I'm taking apart here in Finland. And yeah, so now I'm having a couple of days off, and then day after tomorrow, there's going to be 10 shows in a row. Okay.
Okay, for the Rakasta Yolua?
Yeah, that one indeed.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so to start things off, what have you been listening to lately? Has anything caught your ears of new?
Geez, I haven't really been listening to albums or anything for the past 3 weeks because doing those shows kind of kills your enthusiasm.
Sure.
Yeah, but if I think about back this year, what would be the album I've been listening to most? That would probably be Catatonia, Sky Void of Stars.
Ah, very good. Yeah, it's a great album. Cool.
I like it too.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you've been incredibly busy between, touring again with Tarja, working on new music with Bearwood and preparing for Roses from the Deep. At this point, should we expect an announcement for Taro as well?
Well, that much I know with Taro Boys. We had a kind of a comeback festival around last summer.
Yeah.
And it was good time. There were lots of people enjoying it, including us ourselves. And yeah, but anyways, this solo album was already in the works.
Yeah.
And so now that it comes out, that's going to be my main thing. And then again, comeback shows, you can do them for a while, but then you really have to figure out something new and interesting. With Taro Boys, we agreed that we're all going to be in our old hometown here in Middle Finland at summertime. And mostly those of us who do shows do them at festivals at weekends. We could sit down at the old studio all together and check what kind of riffs and pieces of lyrics and we have, and what do we have on the old hard disks. I'm pretty sure there are a few riffs that could come very handy.
Oh, very cool. Nice. We'll keep an ear out.
Yeah. So there's a possibility of new music and then some more shows, but we have to check those possibilities.
Cool. So how have you been managing, the balancing act? And do you find it energizing or overwhelming to juggle so many different creative outlets at once?
Yeah, it's a strain on the head. I don't enjoy the juggle. Yeah. But then what we got now with the Raskasta Joulua shows, that's very easy to plan for and take into account because it's always in December when everybody else is doing Christmas shows anyways. So putting out the band to do a shows just for the hell of it is not that profitable even, or doesn't make sense. So that's easy to book. Then my main thing is the solo group and the music that I write myself now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the priority number one. But then, for instance, with the Bearwood thingy, okay, by the way, you're the first interviewer that mentions it. That's kind of like a guitar player's songs and projects and his writer friends' lyrics and all that. And we've known for quite a years also. So I ended up doing the album and all that. But again, we have a bunch of musicians that have a shitload of work here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if it ever hits the live situation, but it's really nice to do. And it's, for me, it's a little bit more out of the box because the output is on the album is quite bluesy and poppy compared to the stuff that I've done before. So it was a very interesting and nice out of the box thing to do.
Nice, nice.
Do that record with that guitar player friend of mine. And if he's doing new stuff later on, might very well do vocals for him again, because yeah, like I said, it was out
That's
of the
awesome.
box and nice to do. So yeah, these things that I've been doing now, they do have their places. And Marko Hietala album, which is very much a band album coming out in February.
Yeah,
That is my like main circle, main thing.
that's great. And you've been very open, obviously, with your struggles with depression, anxiety, ADHD. How have you been doing these days? And what have you learned about yourself in the process of healing?
I think I learned to forgive myself. Also learned to forgive quite a lot of other people who
Yeah,
probably didn't have any kind of idea what I was going through.
sure.
But when you go deep into a depression and anxiety, it really affects your whole mood and atmosphere around you and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm not, it made me lose friends because some people will inevitably think that when you're constantly in a hurry or angry or blow your top from little things, that you've let the piss go into your head because of the success, or you're doing drugs, or you're gone asshole or something. So yeah, it's sad that you lose people, you lose friends, but then again, the true ones stay.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
those people who want to see a little bit more beyond the surface, for instance, like my wife, who's pretty much responsible of coming to that different planet where I felt I was on, and still having the faith in me and the energy to collect the pieces and help me out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at the moment, I'm better than probably I've been in like over 10 years before.
That's amazing.
Or over that, because I've always been depression prone. And when my former marriage ended, there were some years already of seriously having a bad time. And I had no idea about the ADHD at the time. But when the psychiatrist, when I kind of left everything and started talking to both the psychiatric circles here in Finland and in Spain, where I kind of got myself a place to escape from, to the ADHD came up as a possible reason why to have depression and anxiety. They're common side effects.
Sure.
And I read about the stuff, and yeah, that is true. And it's connected to the feelings of being an alien for all your life. And it's not good for a creature that belongs into a social species.
Absolutely understand. Yeah.
It makes you undervalue yourself constantly, because you don't get everything that other people are saying. That what you're going through and what you're saying is something that the other people cannot get, because your mind and imagination talks in way more random connections.
Yeah, yeah.
And even though I didn't really think of myself as being someone who's built up a little bit wrong or anything, those emotions, they apparently they gather inevitably.
Yeah.
And finding out, then going really into a deep end, and where I was thinking that, okay, it's nighttime, it's fall, there's some thin ice. I'll just walk on the lake and disappear. Those things are gone, but they were worrying enough, of course, for me to, and feeling so bad constantly. They were enough for me to start looking into the process more deep. And I found the answer when they did the ADHD tests and we changed the meds and everything. Because then the whole anxiety, the whole black cloud of carrying the guilt and the worries of the whole world and everything around me, it started to ease off. And well, of course you start feeling better. And
Absolutely.
yeah, within 3 weeks when we had the decisions and the psychiatric decisions and everything and meds change and all that, within 3 weeks of changing those meds, I started to have like a really weird moment at the backyard. Something is wrong, that I feel like there's just some empty space noise in my head and all that.
Yeah.
Then I realized it's because I'm not worrying about anything. I'm relaxed. I don't feel anxious. It's goddamn great.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. And it felt alien because I hadn't felt like that in years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then, of course, the things started to get better. I found I started to play and sing more, started to write more songs and lyrics again.
Yeah.
Guys in the band started asking, should we do something new? I'm going to send a few demo pieces to you and all that. And started working.
Yeah.
The band got some shows. Started asked me to sing Phantom of the Opera together with her. At the same time, my guitar player realized that this demo of this song left a mark. This song could be a duet. I was like, yeah, it's a love song. But yeah, the lyrics, they would give a way for it being a duet too. We're going there in Switzerland. We have an idea who to ask. So we demoed the song, got that done, ended up doing some touring together and all that. And so life changed by forgiving yourself and other people for the past and moving on and starting to do things. And also, I think that we also got a little girl in the house with my wife. And little children, even though they can be cranky and arrange a hell of a hassle and chaos, mostly it's very positive to be around with a young and enthusiastic life where everything is new.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah.
So a lot of things came together here to, I felt better, and then things happened that made me even feel better and worthwhile to be involved. And now I know the difference between me and other people. And suddenly there are quite a lot of in the circle of like colleagues and friends that come out that, hey, I got it too since I made mine public.
Exactly.
And then you start to realize that that's why our senses of humor match. That's why we're still friends.
Yeah. You have more in common than you realize.
You still believe in me, and I choose the mercy of your heart. I'm just looking for a heart. And together we'll find home.
It's perfect that you were talking about the song Left on Mars, powerful track. You described it as a love song to your wife, but it also reunited with, Tarja in such a special way. What does this song mean to you personally, and how did the idea of the duet, I know you said that the idea of the duet came out because it sounded like it was meant for that.
It became even more than I originally meant it for. Taking care of relationship, whether it's about love or friendship, you need to do pretty much the same things. Be ready with your ears open if you got things to say, be open and honest and all these things. So the lyrical stuff, it kind of fitted also. And then there's by no means intentional. The song was there before, but of course you get the sense of also two exiles.
Of course. Yeah.
So that to me, it's a humorous point. Nobody needs to get like angry about, this is because they both were from there. In a way, but it's not serious. It's just that to me it was kind of even amusing to find out, it could be for two exiles too.
You could, absolutely could look at it that way. And the recording process of that song was almost kind of like a covert mission coming out of a spy novel, kind of like you were smuggling it to Tarja on a USB drive, right? What do you remember about that secret exchange, and was it hard to keep the secret?
No, not really. I mean, we were already booked to the festival. Was going to do that Phantom of the Opera. So it was just a good time to take a USB stick. And of course, when we had the demo song, we knew we were going to be there. So I talked to Tarja, sent some messages. Do you want to hear a new demo song if you would be interested in doing a duet? And she was interested. We brought that stick to her and just gave it to her backstage. Here it is, when you have time. But in fact, it was only a couple of days and she was like, oh, this is a really nice song, nicely like old school prog and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then we just we started recording this. We started recording a bunch of songs. We had demoed a lot. But of course, Left on Mars then became kind of a priority that we got to have the real stuff there fast, get proper bottom tracks to Tarja. And I did already, by giving the demo, I had done like a pretty good vocals over it all the way. And then we took this, like the second verse and all that, and put it, keyboard player put it through some AI handling. So that it sounded like a girl octave higher and all that, and did some harmonies like that too. Sent her pretty much like a existing plan in the form of a song already.
Right.
She did it really fast and well, so no problem there at all. And so that's what we finished. I think, I realized the need of a video for such a collaboration, because it might interest the people of the genre, and it certainly did. So we shot that video before anything else too. Some of the album was still in the works. And
nice.
So all of these things, they just kind of came to be by one thing happening leading to another, and you talking to people and putting things together around it. And that's where we are now.
That's great. And it seems like no time has passed when I see videos of you and Tarja performing even recently. It feels like no time has passed at all. Yeah,
that was a funny thing, how easily you kind of find like an easy comradeship and all that, and starting from the principle that it's nice to do things together, but we also have our own bands and our own circle of players and all that. And so then these ideas of putting both bands together on a road, and then by the end of the evening we'll do a few legendary duets and a couple of new ones, including Left on Mars. And it was a no-brainer. It's good fun. Also, these kind of things are not something you can do forever. For now, it's okay to do a few old Nightwish things and all that together, but it's not. But as an idea, it's not something that I see myself carrying into a far future. Might still do some, because it seems to be a very happy thing for people as well. And that is a very much of a criteria for me. But I do owe one duet to Tarja now. She said that if she does one of mine,
that was my next question,
and then starts later on to write some songs, am I ready to come over for her? Yes, of course.
Great, that's awesome.
So we got a gentleman's and ladies deal about this.
All right, there you go. That's going to be great to look forward to. So obviously your Finnish debut album, Mustan Sydämen Rovio, released 8 months before the English counterpart, Pyre of the Black Heart. Do you think Finnish fans can expect a Finnish version of Roses from the Deep, maybe like a Russia Subuksista?
No, not really.
Okay.
That was more for the first solo album, and at the time I had 6 songs in English and 4 in Finnish, or the other way around. And
Yeah.
then I just figured that since I have this kind of bunch, what if I start to translate them like both, the Finnish to English and English to Finnish, and release the album as both versions? And then everything got late. I was still on my slope to darkness, and I had very little motivation. Really had to build myself up for the singing at the studio. So the English version got late because of that. Originally, I wanted to release them at the same time.
Okay. All right.
And this time around, I don't think I will go that far that I'll start to translate everything. And after all, there is one song in Finnish, and I'll just be writing things in whichever language they come up with. And these were most ready for the album now. But even now, before the album comes out in February, I already got a couple of ideas in the works that are pretty certain to make into a full songs, and the other ones in English, other ones in Finnish. Okay. So we don't really know how it's gonna be going next time.
Yeah, and I think the song you're talking about, Itamiku, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, really catchy song.
January in English.
Yep.
And that relates to my birthday and the midwinter as a kind of the darkness where everything is dead and then the new life begins.
Yeah.
The song itself starts out very much like it was pieces lifted straight out of my childhood, because they are. Yeah. But then the character goes beyond that into new lives and also to death, and then new life after that. No, it's yeah. So it doesn't stay real for the whole song. Cool. It starts very real, but goes into a fantastical side.
I will say, so I've been learning Finnish on and off for a couple of years now, and I used to have someone to practice with, so I understand some of the words in the song, but not many. So yeah. So really, really good song though. I like that track a lot. It's just the knives of the old. The void I gasp my breath from chokes my heart again. Let it go still, let it go cold. Impatient Zero, such a raw song. You've described it as a battle within like monsters inside. If you could describe or visualize one of those monsters, what would it look like or sound like?
It's a voice in the dark. If I would have to give it appearance, it is definitely a voice. Because it's been some kind of a constant companion, which de-evaluates you and puts you down to your own ears, to your own understanding.
I can understand that, absolutely. I personally deal with depression, anxiety, panic disorder, and that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like a constant companion, even in the good moments. It's like it's always there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my view of things, who I am, has been permanently changed because of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the times that I wasn't as cynical and wasn't kind of your trust and your faith in turning things out right wasn't so eroded by things that actually happened.
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm still so happy to be on the positive side of things, because now it feels that things are worth doing.
yeah,
Your,
absolutely.
your your friends are worth seeing, and it's a happy thing and all that. And when I was really down, nothing had any value,
Yeah,
not even my own life anymore.
exactly. Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for being so open about mental health. I think it's super important that people are able to talk about these things. So
It
that's
is,
great.
and it is, and I've realized already a long time back that I I like things to be truthful, honest,
Yeah,
without going to that end where some people just insult others just to feel better than them.
exactly.
But I like things to be open and honest, so that we know what and where and who we're dealing with. Of
Yeah,
course, all the other people aren't like that. But then again, um, they're that ADHD and being alienated by it ever since you were a kid comes in handy, because as an outside observer that I've been a lot of times, you tend to see from quite a lot of people when they are building up lies, that
yeah,
they're more comfortable to
absolutely.
live where they are more comfortable living.
Yeah, no, that's great. I did also want to ask about three tracks in particular: Two Soldiers, Roses from the Deep, the title track, filled with deep emotion and lush orchestral arrangements that
Mhm.
sweep you away. But Dragon Must Die is undoubtedly the heaviest track on the record. Yet they all feel somewhat intertwined. These are definitely three of my personal standouts on the album. Can you talk a bit about the inspiration behind those?
Okay, Two Soldiers actually has a unique place on the album, because it's the song where Tuomas Väinölä wrote almost all the lyrics.
Yeah,
So that me and our trusty lyric check inspector James Lascelles from the band Wheel. Um, in Two Soldiers, there might be a line or two from me, and then a few lines more from James, and then some grammar checkups and maybe a word change from here. But that was mostly Tuomas's work, which
nice.
is
Okay.
nice, because this is a point of view that I hadn't come up with,
Yeah,
and it's very current.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's how Two Soldiers came to be, and the music there, the verses, that's mostly mine, and the melodies. Then when we go to pre-choruses, bridges, and the choruses, it's kind of a hybrid of what I had, and a chorus melody is pretty much straight from what I had. Some chords change places.
sure.
Yeah, and the idea of from Tuomas's song was also that it could have somebody else, since it's based on that old little piece of story or the
Yeah.
letter that James is narrating there in the song.
Uh-huh.
And so then we asked our old friend, Mr. J.P. Leptalo, do you want to be another part of this? He was, and I really love his low end. We get a really good harmony when we match my more high and nasal sound and his deep
Yeah.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great. Yeah.
And the song seemed to work, because when I tried it out by playing it to my wife and to my mother-in-law, they both got into tears.
Yeah.
That was a good sign. So there we
Yeah.
have that one. Then Dragon Must Die, that's the prog metal epic of the album.
Very prog. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like a song where the band guys came through again really a lot.
Yeah.
Because what I had was the theme, the riff in the beginning, and I had the verses, I had the chorus, and a couple of other ideas and immediately guys that this could make like a bigger, like more like a storytelling piece as musically as well. I
Yeah.
said, okay, that actually works, and let's give it a little bit of thought. And I left the demo studio, and I don't know, was it next day or the day after that, that when I come back to listen to it, the guys have gone over 1 billion ideas and put them together, and it was about there. I was like blown away. What? This is brilliant. Let's go with that. Yeah, this works too. So in the end, we didn't change that much anymore. It came really weirdly easy to be that kind of a multifaceted being that the song is.
Yeah. I really like the prog aspect. The time changes are great. Kind of almost give me a Neil Morse feeling at times too.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
because he's one of the better writers of the genre, definitely. Lyrical stuff is, of course, well, again, the state of the world where 1 billion ideologies and religions and political directions are constantly clashing,
of course,
and bullshitting and coloring the truths and all that, and
all too often.
But all of them have something in common. They ask for your money.
Yep. Absolutely understand that.
Yeah. So to kind of cut off those heads. Would be nice. But then again, we know what kind of a world we live in. Everything that gets a little bit successful gets sucked into the business, which where you have a company and a chain of companies behind it, and in the end, there's always somebody who sits on a fucking huge chest of money and wants it to grow.
And wants it to grow more and more. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, to myself personally, that kind of a mindset is really fucking alien. How does it better your life? How does it make you feel better that you have more than everybody else?
Yeah. It's a very strange concept. Yeah.
It's a very strange thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Roses from the Deep.
Yeah.
That is actually the oldest song on the album.
Uh-huh.
I had a raw version of the lyrics and some of the stuff, verses already, even at the time of Pyro the Black Heart. But it never came into a song because it was really missing a chorus, which would have to be different. Sure. Not like your basic stadium ballad, but it gets some of the vibe. And in the end, I came up with that chorus, most of it. It still went through some revisions with the band. I think I came up with it like about 2 years ago. When I was starting to get the new meds and everything, and I started to play more and more, and then I just figured that this one still needs a chorus. So I started just going over some melodies and chords where I started to put the lyrics into it, and I started to come up with it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how it ended up being. The story itself is what it sounds like it is. It's a romantic ghost story.
Ghost story. Yeah, for sure. That's great. And then the very last question I have for you, you've had such a dynamic career. Is there any genre or style that you've always wanted to explore but haven't had a chance to yet?
Not that much anymore. I mean, I've always had also the softer side, which I like to use. But that's, of course, being used in Christmas projects and on my own albums and all that.
Yeah.
So like output-wise, with the band, maybe my ambition is more like what's happening right now.
Yeah.
We seem to have made an album that makes a lot of people really like it. And then get it out there, and hopefully we'll get some nice recognition and everything in order to continue on doing live shows, because the band has been getting really nice and tight. We like to play live.
Yeah.
So those are like musical ambitions this time. But of course, I have kind of I don't take the status that I built during the years for granted. And I don't take the shine that is still on my shoulders from my times in Nightwish. I don't take that for granted. These kind of things get
Exactly.
forgotten. They go out of existence. But if I have this chance of like writing, recording, and then performing some good pieces of music to people who enjoy them, then I'm pretty far there. Personally, of course, well, there's a little girl in the house again.
Exactly.
And, yeah. And maybe even more and more, I've always been a scientific freak, reading pieces from here and there, reading a lot of sci-fi. But somehow I tend to be even more drawn to the news about psychological breakthroughs and developments and
Yeah, absolutely.
these kind of things.
Great. Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's as a living being, there's never an end of things you can learn, which can eventually wise you up a bit even.
Exactly.
So yeah, the whole world is open with those, and they will definitely affect how you write your music too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, Marko, thank you again so much for taking the time to chat today. Everyone who's watching, please remember Roses from the Deep is going to be out February 7th. Nuclear Blast. There's going to be a pre-order link in the video description. Marko Hietala, thank you again so much for your time.
No problem at all. And hey, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, Marko. Yeah, same for you.